Hey everybody, Jay Woodford here, if you don't know that already. It's funny, I watched a little bit of the last recording that I did for Psycho Cybernetics, and I'm yapping about how I'm going to continue on with it, and look what happens. Just got so much on the go. Just finished launching a company called Velocity PCM with 4 partners out of the United States. All geared towards software and marketing, web design for dentists. So that's been busy. I'm in the process of launching another project right now, which might be of interest to some of you, which is teaching you how to create business websites and flip them and sell them to small to medium businesses all over the world. Doesn't matter where you are, for a nice, healthy upfront payout from them, as well as monthly recurring revenue. And that's something that I'm convinced I can help anybody create $5,000 a month recurring income anytime within 90 days, as long as you're willing to put in the work and you're willing to learn. Now, I know that when people hear web design, they get scared, but in 2018, especially with the platform that we use for our client sites with Synergist Media, this stuff is stupidly simple compared to what it used to be. You can build amazing looking websites in no time, drag and drop without ever needing to know one line of code or have a big team behind you like I do. So anyways, I'm actually going to be offering partnerships to people where I help them build their own web design agency, for lack of a better word, using the method that we use to flip these websites to small and medium businesses that need them all over the place. This is insane. So if that's of interest to you, we're in the planning stages and implementation stages of that right now. It's a partnership. I'm looking for partners. Not a huge investment. It's going to cost less than $100 a month for you to run with everything that you need. If that's potentially of interest to you, you can email me at jay@synergistmedia.com, jay@synergistmedia.com, synergistmedia.com, synergistmedia.com. So getting back to it, I really want to get back on this. I keep saying this; it drives me nuts. But the reality is when my days are packed with stuff, something's got to give. And unfortunately, this was something that had to give. I wanted to spend 20 minutes, half an hour a day on this. From the time of looking through the book, I haven't done anything that I've been wanting to do in so many different ways. This is the story of my life in a lot of ways, and this is the story of what it's like to be in 2019, now, as an entrepreneur in a world that is so rich and ripe with ridiculous opportunity everywhere, which is why I'm starting this project that I just told you about, because I want to be able to help other people do that. And a lot of you are salespeople. You're going to have a leg up in being able to do this because you're actually going to be able to communicate with businesses. But the way that I don't want to get into it too much. I'm just super excited about it. It's so central in my mind right now. The way that we convert these websites to businesses, it's ridiculous. There's nothing that I've seen like it. Just send me an email if you're interested in looking at the possibility of partnering with me on this. So, anyways, super busy, tons of stuff on the go. One of the things that brought me back a few days ago was I've gotten messages and comments from people saying how much this has helped them in, I'm talking about deep personal ways, not just what I'm putting out there, but the fact that I've gotten people onto this book and that people have come across this book in the past, and it's like anything else. Until you have some real experience with it, it's hard to believe. This book makes a lot of grand claims that are hard to believe, but when you hear a story like mine and how much it's helped me, and I mean it sincerely, this book has been so central. Not the book necessarily, the principles itself, and then finding that once I read this book years after, accidentally using these principles to develop and further my own self-image, which changed the way that I operated in day-to-day life, which is what the book's about. When people hear those stories, it's meaningful to them. So that's, I want to get back on this, and I'm really sorry. I know I've said that I'm going to be here, and I haven't been. You have to forgive me. I'm doing my best. I'm going to continue to try to do my best in the new year. I really want to take more time to read. Anyways, one more other thing I want to say, and this is getting into personal stuff. which I'm totally cool with. I'm an open book. I like being an open book. All of us need more authenticity from other people in our lives, so I'm happy to do that. I quit drinking on December 25th. That was my last drink, and the reason that I did that was it was starting to become a bit of a problem. I'm going to put out a video that I put out on Facebook about it to help other people in the next day or so, but I just wanted to give you a heads up. But I quit drinking because it was going down the road of becoming a problem every single day. Drinking after I got in from work, and just to shut off. And I noticed it was starting to hinder my energy levels, my sleeping. It was just something that I knew I was going down the road of this becoming an issue, and if I didn't deal with it now, I'd have bigger problems in the future. And to me, I realized how much I'm missing out on. It's things like this. Like I could have been, as much as I should be shutting off early, I could have been spending time on this instead of trying to shut my brain off with alcohol so that I could get up early the next day. So anyways, I just wanted to share that with you. The story has been quite impactful for a lot of people. When I put it out on Facebook, I had a lot of people message me saying it really gave them hope, really challenged them, helped them, gave them courage to face their own stuff. And so, and it's funny because the section that I'm talking about today is really related to that. I was reading it last night. It's completely relevant to my struggle with it, and probably maybe your struggle in different ways, and how we can circumvent that. So keep an eye out for that video. I think it'll be helpful if anybody's going through that or knows anybody who's going through it or on that way towards struggling with alcohol. And hope you guys don't lose respect for me because of that, and if you do, well, that's your problem. I'm going to be who I am and share who I am regardless of what people think, which is exactly what I tried to impart to you here. So if you're following along in the new Psycho Cybernetics, this version, we're on page 3, chapter 1, the Snapback Effect. The person who has a fat self-image, whose self-image claims to have a sweet tooth, to be unable to resist junk food or alcohol, who cannot find the time to exercise, will be unable to lose weight and keep it off no matter what he tries to do consciously in opposition to that self-image. You cannot long outperform or escape your self-image. If you do briefly, you'll be snapped back like a rubber band extended between two fingers coming loose from one. The person who perceives himself to be a failure type person will find some way to fail in spite of all his good intentions or his willpower, even if opportunity is literally dumped in his lap. The person who conceives himself to be a victim of injustice, one who was meant to suffer, will invariably find circumstances to verify his opinions. You can insert any specific into this group: your golf game, sales career, public speaking, weight loss, relationships. The goal of your, I don't know why I didn't put weight loss and relationships there, but that's okay. The goal of your self-image is absolute and pervasive. The snapback effect is universal. The self-image is a premise, a base, or a foundation upon which your entire personality, your behavior, and even your circumstances are built. As a result, our experiences seem to verify and thereby strengthen our self-images, and either a vicious or beneficent cycle, as the case may be, is set up. For example, a student who sees himself as an F-type student or one who is dumb in mathematics will invariably find that his report card bears him out. He then has proof. In the same manner, a sales professional or an entrepreneur will also find that her actual experiences tend to prove that her self-image is correct. Whatever is difficult for you, whatever frustrations you have in your life, they are likely proving and reinforcing something ingrained in your self-image like a groove in a record. Because of this objective proof, it very seldom occurs to us that our trouble lies in our self-image or our own evaluation of ourselves. Tell a student that he only thinks he cannot master algebra and he will doubt your sanity. He has tried, and still his report card tells the story. Tell the sales agent that it is only an idea that she cannot earn more than a certain figure, and she can prove you wrong by her order book. She knows only too well how hard she has tried and failed. Yet, as we shall see, almost miraculous changes have occurred both in grades of students and the earning capacity of salespeople once they were prevailed upon to change their self-images. Obviously, it's not enough to say it's all in your head. In fact, that's insulting. It is more productive to explain that it is based on certain ingrained, possibly hidden patterns of thought that, if altered, will free you to tap more of your potential and experience vastly different results. This brings me to the most important truth about the self-image. It can be changed. Numerous case histories have shown that you are never too young or too old to change your self-image and start to live a new, amazingly different life. So for me, in the context of what I just shared with you about quitting drinking or going on what I'm calling an indefinite fast, I have no point at which I'm going to partake again. This spoke to me in that, because anytime we try to change a pattern, there's always going to be that temptation for that snapback effect. And to be honest with you, this book, because of the knowledge that I've put in my head over the years of this book and the experience with this and the understanding of the self-image and how that programming can cause that to happen in spite of my best intentions, I have spent time seeing my life without alcohol, seeing myself as more productive, seeing myself, like I said, being more productive, and really seeing that in different ways, and imagining ways that I could be better using my time. And seeing myself as someone who doesn't drink, to make this easier, because it just became too much of a habitual thing. And the reason for that is because if I didn't do that, that snapback effect would be very real, and it could be completely detrimental to what I'm doing. So, I see this a lot of times with people who are entrepreneurs or salespeople or people that are engaged in public speaking or whatever it is. They get inspired by a new way to behave, and they go out there and they try to do it and they try to fake it, and eventually they just go right back into their same old patterns. We all know what this is like in our own personal experience, and that is why you have to take time. I've said this probably 15 times in every single video I've done. You have to take time and actually practice this stuff. You have to, when you're in the car, you have to start to rewire that stuff. The whole thing about practicing is that it's allowing you to see yourself function in a brand new way, which is what changes the self-image. If you just take techniques and go out there and try to do it, you're going to fail, because your self-image is not this. Your self-image is contrary to this person that can behave in a way that's successful. Your self-image is contrary to a person who can communicate in a way that is successful, in a way that is sustained and long-term and going to be automatic. This is about becoming automatic. This is not about becoming rehearsed and trying to follow a script or a pattern consciously, because whenever we try to do anything consciously, it inevitably falls apart. This is about it becoming habitual and automatic and coming out of it. And the only way to do that is through practice. Why do you think that professional athletes and boxers, and well, I guess boxers are professional athletes, and he talks about this in the book. He talks about shadow boxing. He talks about famous boxers who engaged in the practice of shadow boxing. Why is it that professional athletes practice incessantly? When I was really heavily involved in golf as a kid, I spent 3-4 times more time at the range practicing my technique and my swing mechanics and the mental game than I did on the golf course. And there's a reason you do that, because that is where you start to change these patterns, where you change those patterns, because there's no pressure. Whereas if I'm on the course or I'm in a tournament and I'm trying to work on my swing in the middle of it because something's not going right, it just never works that way. And it's the same with this. So you have to spend time practicing. When you're in your car, turn off the stupid XM radio BS and music or whatever. I know it's nice and relaxing and your life might not be that much fun right now because you're working a job you can't stand and you just want to check out. I get that. I just went through that, talking about that. Except I enjoy my life, so I don't know how people who don't make it through. But either way, this is how you're going to change. You have to spend that time practicing if you want the change. If you don't, then why are you here anyways? May as well go watch some Impractical Jokers or something. They're frickin' funny, by the way. If you haven't seen that, it's awesome. So that's it for today. That was a pretty short and simple session, but because this objective proof very seldom occurs to us that our trouble lies in our self-image or our own evaluation of ourselves. That is such a key little statement right there, our own evaluation of ourselves. Let's go back real quick to the last session where I talked about this is why achieving something difficult with teeth gritted is a losing battle. Willpower is not the answer. image management is. Willpower is the answer in terms of actually engaging in the exercises that are going to change your self-image. Because you got to get yourself to do it. But trying to sustain that behavior in pressure situations, no matter what it is, if you're in front of a camera, if you're in front of a room, public speaking, if you're in front of a prospect that scares the shit out of you, it's not going to work. So you have to spend the time to practice the right techniques, the ways that you want to communicate in a way that you see yourself as being successful and confident. Practice. I'm hoping this will be more than once every 4 months. Again, please, if you like this, if you listen to this, please comment. Let me know. It's the thing that brings me back. It's like, this is making a difference for people. So I'm going to make the time to do it. It's not that hard, please, okay? So again, like I said at the beginning, if you have an interest in building a business on the side that doesn't take a whole bunch of your time, you can do whenever you want, in a partnership with me, we're going to build and sell websites to small and medium businesses. And if you're willing to work and you're willing to learn, there's no reason why you can't create a $5,000 a month recurring income with me as your partner inside of 90 days. If that's of interest to you, email me, jay@synergistmedia.com. Hope to see you guys soon.